just joined us, it is still the Saturday morning trip, and we are on our second guest platform. Yes, you have missed a lot. But luckily, you can still catch up with the next topic we will be discussing this morning. It's an issue that concerns everybody. Everybody must eat. And currently, Nigeria is having issues, food crisis, and the poverty index has also gone up. So this is what we'll be looking at this morning. We have an expert in the house, an agriculturist, who will be discussing this with us this morning. Yes, I guess I
Alhaji Mr. Paula is our guest on the second guest part and the segment of the SMT. Alhaji, you are welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, food crisis and poverty index. What is the relationship?
They are interrelated anyway.
Okay.
We talk about poverty index in this country. We talk about food crisis. And somebody who is able to feed his family or even himself is not good. Let's take note of that. And when people were impoverished people, they will not be able to feed themselves. The nation that we are in today is part of the global arrangement. And you can exactly see that the poverty level, not only in this, but this country we are concerned with, this country is too alarming this time around. Those who are in employment are underemployed and underpaid. I'm sure even your studio here, you are only managers, you are all managers. Your salary is not enough to take you home, and not to even cater for what you are. So we are all in fault. So, and when there is poverty at all levels, definitely there must be hunger at all levels. They are interrelated.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the food crisis and poverty index, what do you think can be the solution?
You mean the solution?
Yes.
We first of all talk about what are the causes? What are the causes of this? One, Nigeria as a nation is inhabited, unfortunately, with lazy people. Lazy youth, lazy elders as well. The agriculture is the means of our economy in this country. Everybody knows that. If it wasn't like this before, nobody cares whether even some farmers in their villages, they eat and they are satisfied. And they can now sell out whatever is the remains of whatever they harvest in their farms. But even today, they cannot have enough for their own family for so many reasons. One, I have said that we are very lazy, we don't want to work. But it's not the fault of the people in the country, but the fault of the rulers who are not encouraging agriculture in this country. If agriculture is neglected in any country, that country should refuse, should melt out with another country completely. God has so given us a lot of opportunities, a lot of favors in this country. The rain comes when it's supposed to. Even despite the climate change, we still have a horrible climate in Nigeria that can help us farm without much expenses. I was at a country where all what they plant in that country is through irrigation, overhead irrigation. You know how expensive to even construct an overhead irrigation for 1 acre. But here we don't need that. It's where in this part of the country, the southern part of the country. But still, we are not lucky enough to have a caring government. What are the so at the federal, state, and local government levels. Agriculture, I can tell you, if we don't need to import anything, any food item into this country, nothing. I can tell you, I have a little garden at my backyard, and I used to go there to wet the water in the morning. It is fantastic when you see, it's not more than this the whole area. But what do we access there on daily basis? Anything we need, especially cowpea, vegetables, and so on. We put there, we accessible fresh fruits in our home. How many people are able to do that for? The government itself, we need to mechanize agriculture. Our youth this time around are not given the orientation to work on the field. And even if you add to that one, this manual labor is no more attractive this time around. The whole world has mechanized agriculture. What are we waiting for in this country? What exactly are we waiting for? There was a time when there was a factory in Bauchi manufacturing agricultural tractors. The factory is completely dead now. Nothing on that. There's one, formerly, if you want to go to the field, you usually use Jeep. There's a Land Rover manufacturing plant in Ibadan. It's dead completely. We have a lot of, during the Tagari era, I know there was the fertilizer then being sold to the farmers was subsidized. So that they can, anywhere you go, you get very cheap fertilizer to ensure that the farmers, they have a good harvest at the end of the day. But today, tell me, a bag of fertilizer is how much? Can any peasant farmer afford that one? No, it's not possible. So I don't know what the government is doing. We have a lot of causes. Like I said, when you talk about global effects anyway, like the COVID-19 is just part of it. But this global climate change, unless something is done the next 20, 30 years, I don't know whether we are going to be able to live on this planet again. If nothing is done to arrest the climate change in the world over. We are not part of the people causing climate change, but we are suffering more because the effect is on Africa, especially the black African people. Rain that is supposed to come at a certain time. Formerly we usually have what we call August break. You time your planting, affecting everything by then. But this time it's useless to time anything. If you say you want to do it, you are only wasting, because rain can come anytime. And there can be drought anytime due to this climate syndrome. That is what global subject. I used to have written in Nigeria also. But I'm hammering that the government is not helping us in this country. The salary being given to people is not even enough. You want them to farm, they cannot even feed their vehicle to work. That is one. They have their own children. As you have experience that I know overseas, and they go to public schools in this country. Before you can take your child to any public school this time around, either you have a car or you hire a motorcycle that will be taking your child every day. Remove that one from what you take per month. So the government is not ready for us. Unless there's a change of heart where they will actually face agriculture as the means of economy in this country. You know what we usually do is that because we are lucky we have oil, we forget everything. And that is, we are going to reach a dead end at the end of the day. I didn't mean that they use the money they realize from to fund agriculture, to promote agriculture and other sectors. We wouldn't be in this state.
Thank you, John. Let me quickly add this before we go to the program because of our time. Now, the government encouraged a lot of farmers, rice farmers, to farm rice and ban the importation of rice. But we now discovered that the locally produced rice, the prices are just side by side with the imported one. So is that a way of encouraging farmers?
Then government, if you want to drive some people away from parking at the roadside, especially these motorists, you have to create a garage for them. If you want to actually, if you are sincere and say we have rice, we are planting rice, you know the amount of money they used to arrange the pyramids in Abuja. That is quite enough even to feed the whole nation. The money they used to arrange that pyramids. For what? For nothing. If you actually, if you want to plant, if you want rice to be on everybody's table at cheaper rate in this country, government can do it. One, subsidize the agricultural expenses. Irrigate the farm for the farmers at subsidized rate. Let there be extension workers that will be going to them from time to time to, guide them through what they are supposed to do. Make roads to their farms. Let them have portable, cottage hospitals near their own field as well. Give them schools, standard schools where their children can go. But I could remember my father was a farmer himself. When we were going to school, we were taught how to farm by him. You go to school, weekend you go to the farm. And we work like any other laborers here. But today we are enjoying it because even my children are doing this. Because I also give them the idea of wherever they are today, either some in fishery, some in production, crop production, whatever, plus their own normal. So, government is interested. The money they are using to campaign, to whisk away, we talk about corruption. Go to any institution in this country today. The workers are just managed. Just let me just go. The equipment are not there, and they are being budgeted every year. And they are being taken out. Even the people at the National Assembly that were who the budget, they have inbuilt fund into whatever budget they are inviting you to come and defend. When they see you, if you are an engineer, and they say, okay, you are the head of that corporation. The corporation is it needs to do with the communication. What does an engineer want the communication? So somebody who had said that we never put them there, and we will go and defend the budget, and the budget will be approved. And the money, before they approve, they have already known how much is going to their own,
coming to them,
their own pockets. Can we rise in this country? When we talk about them, we want to reduce poverty, we want to ensure that they are stood on our table. I think we have to handle this in our own church now. Let everybody be prepared to have at least a little plot. 1. 2, let the government itself realize that there will be a reaction, spontaneous reaction in future, if nothing is done now to alleviate the sufferings of people. People are just, you know what is happening in Iran today? They have burnt down Ayatollah Khomeini's house. It's just a spontaneous reaction to something else because they have been suffering for a long time. So Nigeria is doing something that is going to attract such reaction from the populace. People are hungry. People are not happy at all levels. At all levels. And instead of addressing those areas, our politicians turn deaf ear to it. Instead, they continue destroying villages and towns. So many unattractive attention to villages and towns. And let's forget about that.
Yes, Like 2 minutes.
Jẹ́ ká wo díẹ̀ ní Yorùbá kó tó di pé a máa káàdì ètò ilẹ̀. Ìyẹn wà ní kò sóúnjẹ. Àwọn èèyàn òṣì ìṣẹ́ àtòṣì ó ti wọ́pọ̀ láwùjọ báyìí. Kí lẹ rò pé a lè ṣe ní ẹ̀ka àtijọba àti ẹ̀ka ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan wa nínú ìlú láti lè kásẹ̀ rògbòdìyàn yìí lẹ̀?
Ní sọ fún wa pé ọ̀lẹ ni wá lórí ìlú. Àfẹ́sẹ̀ àwa pẹ̀lú àtúkọ̀ àtìfẹ́sẹ̀ àwọn tó ń darí wa ò fẹ́ kí ẹnìkan kan lórí the middle class is already off there. Either you are poor or you are rich. Kan méjì ló dà ní country. And àwọn tí náà ń sáré fún olówó ní ìsìn ló pọ̀ jù without having anything to develop the country. Agriculture àti pa iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ tì. Ìjọba òṣèré kò sì ṣetán láti ràn wá lọ́wọ́ lérí iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀. Gbogbo owó tí a rí níbi epo a fi tọ́jú iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ tí ó gbà títí ayé. Àwọn tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ń sìn tápè ní climate change, ojú ọjọ́ tó bàjẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé omi ń pọ̀ jù. Àgbẹ̀ tó ní màálù, àgbẹ̀ tó ní oko tó mi wọ́ lọ, tàbí drought tó wáyé drought ọ̀gbẹlẹ̀ tí màálù ń kú tó wẹ̀ ń ṣe. Sí àánú ìjọba tó lè ràn wá lọ́wọ́ lórí ẹ̀. Níbo làwọn owó táwọn rí bílíọ̀nù yìí lójoojúmọ́ níbo ni ń lọ? Owó epo táwọn wà níbo ló ń lọ? Àwọn tí ń gbowó oṣù wọn kàn ń gbìyànjú ni owó tí ò tó. Àwọn tó ń kiri àkàrà gángba kọjá ọmọ níjà míì nílé iṣẹ́. Ẹ sì fẹ́ wọn wá lójoojúmọ́, àwọn náà bímọ, àwọn ò lọ léèwé, òun yẹn ti ń lọ. Àwọn public school tí ń bẹ ọmọ mẹ̀kúnnù ní lọ, òsì wá ń gun òsì ní orí. Àwọn tó tọ́jú wa ní country yóò ṣe dáadáa. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ ráìsì pé ráìsì tá a lọ sí pyramid tá a máa tún náwó lérí ẹ̀. Owó tí ń bẹ látòkèrè wá tí wọ́n bá wá fún ní free market tí a ní kí kálukú máa kó nǹkan wọlé bó bá ṣe wù. Ẹ̀dá kan sọ fún mi, ẹni tí ń kó nǹkan wọlé látòkèrè ìbóyá kí tiẹ̀ wọ́n ju tiwa lọ wọ́n tó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ọ̀nà oko tí gbàgbé gbẹ̀ ti lọ kó nǹkan wá kó dà, kò sóúnjẹ ń bẹ. Àmì kò sí ọ̀nà, kò sí hospital tó dáa, kò sí ilé ìwé tí wọ́n máa lọ. Ìgboro náà ó tún kó ọmọ wa. Wọ́n sì vaporize ẹ̀wò àwọn lecturers wa oṣù kẹjọ. Lẹ́yìn oṣù kẹjọ náà tó padà. Síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ wọn ò tí ì padà tán. A sì mọ̀ dá wọn lẹ́bi pé ṣé bí ẹni bá lọ sílé aṣòfin lénìí ọdún 3 àbí ọdún 4 ó lè ra Nàìjíríà. Ó dàbí ó lè sọ̀rọ̀ tí ó jẹ́ pé kò lè sọ kálímọ̀ òyìnbó kan tó dáa lẹ́nu. Tí ò gbé bíìlì kankan tàbí kó gbé ẹni ẹ̀rọ kó motion kó gbé lọ sílé aṣòfin. Bí ó ṣe jókòó ní Ghana mọ̀sùlùmí ní sùnwó lójoojúmọ́ ẹ̀sùn rẹ̀ bóyá léde ó dà. Ṣùgbọ́n o tó bá pẹ́ tí ìjọba ò bá change, àwọn aráàlú spark yóò spontaneous strike, wọ́n kàn tàbí dídìde pa wàhálà ni. Èyí ṣe pé èèyàn fẹ́ kórí bẹ́ẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá wá nǹkan ṣe báyìí aráàlú ó dìde. Àkànrí tó ń fọ wàhálà lójijì Ọlọ́run ìgbérí ó ṣẹlẹ̀.
Àkókò tí ìgbéró wa ń pọ̀ pọ̀ mọ́. Thank you so much, Alhaji Mr. Fawolawi. Yes, we really can't exhaust this topic today. We can't exhaust it, so we have to fight to another day because it's a running story. It's something that is something, and there seems to be no solution in sight at the moment. So we keep talking about it. Thank you so much. Exactly. Thank you for looking at the program this morning. Yes, this is where we'll be joining the second guest platform. The content on the second guest platform of the Saturday Morning Plate. We will now take commercials from LAPO. Please stay tuned.
We at LAPO are committed to poverty eradication. We equally believe that the battle against poverty requires the effort of everyone.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bridging the Gap. My name is Patience Naubu Wanda. And Bridging the Gap comes to you from Lift Above Poverty organization LAPO. LAPO is a non-governmental organization with particular focus on women and health. And on today's program, we are going to be talking about men's role and involvement in maternal and child health care. You know that it's been said, some health persons, some health people have said that, or health analysts have said that the lack of male involvement in pregnancy-related care has been a contributing factor to maternal deaths, which happens to be, or which remains, a major public health issue, a major public health burden in developing countries, including Nigeria. And this morning, we are going to be discussing this issue with Dr. Tony Fabuya. Doctor, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Tony Fabuya is the Chief Medical Officer and the Wellness Clinic Coordinator of Medical Women Association, Edo State Chapter. So with her, we'll be looking at the issue of men's role and involvement in maternal and child health care. But before we go into our discussion, before we engage our guests in discussions, we are going to take the LAPO message. Please stay tuned. Welcome back from LAPO message. Right, Doctor, let's look at what we mean by male partner involvement in maternal and child health care.
Thank you. Firstly, before I will answer that question, I want to say that maternal and child health are components of reproductive health. So we need to know what reproductive health is. Reproductive health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity in all matters related to reproductive system and its functions and processes. So when we are talking about male involvement in maternal and child health, we mean that it simply means that the participation of the fathers and men at all levels in caring, supporting, and encouraging women to utilize the available maternal, the reproductive, the newborn, and the child health services that are available.
All right, Doctor, I also want us to look at the statistics now. Let's look at how many maternal deaths do we have each year.
In fact, about 99% of maternal mortality rate happens or occurs in the developing country, including Nigeria. So in Nigeria, presently, the current figure is about 576 per 100,000 live births. Although it's increasing, but it's still high. In fact, it is the fourth globally.
The fourth globally?
Yes.
That's Nigeria is the fourth globally.
Yes.
When it comes to maternal death.
Death, yes.
What about neonatal infants mortality rates?
The neonatal death, we are referring to death of newborn within the period of 28 days. So, and this figure is about 35.5 per 1,000 live birth, which is still high.
That's very quite high. What about, okay, let's go straight to the role. What role does a man play in pregnancy?
In fact, men play an important role, very, very important role. Globally, in many of the contests, men are usually the decision makers in the family, within the family setup. So their input, they have this important influence in some of the decisions regarding maybe allocation of money, the nutrition in the family, even to allow the women to even visit the healthcare for all these reproductive health services that we are making mention of. So they are the one that will determine if the wife should go or not. So they have an important role to play.
So do men have a role in maternal and newborn nursing?
Of course, yes, ma. I will say a capital yes. They have a big role to play, because with the help being involved in taking care of the newborn baby, it will serve as a great support, both physically and emotionally, to the mother, and it will also still encourage the mother to go for further services concerning herself, even the baby.
Doctor, let's look at the consequences now. The consequences of male partner exclusion in childbirth activities and also maternal and child health care.
The consequences ultimately we either make the maternal and the child mortality to remain the same, or even to increase, to get worse. Because if they are not being involved, if they lack knowledge concerning the reproductive, the maternal, the newborn and child health services that are available, the women will not be able to utilize these services ultimately, and it will affect the maternal mortality rate.
Okay, we'll take a short break here while we bring you the faces of LAPO, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the barriers to male involvement in maternal and child health care.
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Akwa State, here in Rio. I'm doing my business here in Rio. I started with LAPO. LAPO has been very nice and very good with me. It was since 2015 that we started. I started from kiosk to Basha, from Basha before I built this big shop there. It has been through the good efforts of LAPO. Anytime I go to their office for any help, they are always there for me. I cannot do without them. My success today is from LAPO. What I am today is from LAPO. LAPO has really put smiles on my face. LAPO has made me to empower other women. People are tripping, coming just to be empowered by LAPO. LAPO has been a good microfinance. I keep on introducing LAPO to other people that they should come. One thing with LAPO, the moment you start with LAPO, just use the money for the business, not for any other thing else. There is no way you will not make it. I always encourage other women that they should come and join the good incentive that I've been receiving from LAPO. LAPO gave my son scholarship just because of how I am with them. Instead of me to use my money to eat my money, rather I'll use that money to clear off my loan and get another money to put into my shop. Their interest rate is nothing but just okay. As long as you can collect and you put it, it's okay, no problem with the LAPO interest rate. My good advice for other women is that anytime they collect money from LAPO, they should use that money for investment for their business. They should not use that money to go and buy rice, to go and buy chicken and cook. Rather, they should put the money for business, and the money will grow as long as it is for business. Since they collect that money for business, that money should be for business. There is no way they will not grow with it.
Welcome back from Faces of LAPO. Doctor, let's look at the barriers. What are some of the barriers limiting men?
I will just quickly point to about 3 of them. The individual factors. The men especially, they lack knowledge, or they have little knowledge concerning the maternal and child health care services that are even available for them to access. Then also because of their low educational attainment too, is part of it. Then by the time we now check out the healthcare facility setting too, we now find out that even at the healthcare, there's a kind of a way that they do exclude the men. Some men that follow their wife for antenatal care services, for example, they will be told to go and stay in one place, as if what they are going to discuss with the women is not their business or is not their concern. So those are kind of the barrier. And then the social cultural factors. In fact, that one is a major barrier, because the society sees men maybe that assist or support their wife as being weak, in quotes. So due to peer pressure and things like that, men will not want to, even though they have the ability and the will to even support their wives, they will feel, I beg, maybe they not go call me woman rapper. So with that is a major barrier. The socio-cultural factor is a major barrier. And then the policy makers, that's at the government level now. So we find out that the policy that they make in a way also is not encouraging and does not even allow the men to be part of the healthcare services that are meant for their wives.
There is this perception that a man who accompanies his wife, for antenatal visits, that such a man, like you said, is weak. He's in quotes, a woman rapper. Yes, it's very common, especially in this part of the world. Yes. But I think that there is a kind of difference between what we have here and in the developed world, what is obtainable there.
Yes.
They over there, you see that even doctors, even healthcare workers, they encourage men to come for a antenatal or for to see for counseling with the doctors and all that. But like you said, in this part of if you get to any of the hospitals, you see that among 100 women or 50 women, you just find like 2 men. And like you said, they will just be asked to stay aside. They don't sit with their wives.
They don't listen to the talk. They are being excluded in a way.
They are not involved.
Yes,
they are not involved. So it's a major barrier that we have to look at ways of overcoming. In this part of the world. But let's also look at the factors that facilitate male involvement in pregnancies. What are some of those factors? We are now looking at, let's say, the solutions now.
Okay. If you are going to look at that aspect, we need to start from the individual. First of all, we need to educate the men and let them realize the importance of their being involved, because even the men, they also have reproductive needs too and concern, and they should be aware that their own health status and their behaviors will ultimately affect the women's reproductive health. So we need to educate them. In fact, we need to start the education early in life. That's the boys and the men, they should be involved. For example, in the school, to incorporate it into the school program,
yes.
like the family life education, for example. They should, they should intensify it in the schools. Let the boys know, even right from a young age, that there's need for him to be involved in the reproductive health of the family.
Yes, that's also a major aspect that we need to look at as a people. The area of the family.
Yes.
The family, the socialization process.
Yes.
From the boyhood, from boys,
Yes.
as
From
they
the
grow
childhood,
up.
yes.
Yes, from childhood.
Yes.
They should be incorporated.
Yes.
They should. I don't really understand why it's so. This perception. We just have this perception that everything that has to do with pregnancy is just the women's
issue. In fact,
there is no, it's not saying men are not really, even if they are concerned, it's just maybe at home they ask their wives. But generally, that's the perception is there. That it's just a woman's world. Everything that has to do with reproductive health. Even when you see couples who are having
challenges,
having challenges in the area of maybe a pregnancy, you discover that the man sends the wife, or rather the woman sends herself to go and be looking for solutions, whereas the man could even be
the main factor.
The main factor.
Yes. And also, even at the community level, we still have a lot of work to do. At the community level, they need to educate the men, mostly even by their leaders, maybe like the community leaders, church leaders, because men tends to be more receptive to messages from their leaders. So if they are being carried along, even at the community level, it will go a long way for them to really understand the importance of them being part of the reproductive health of the family. They too have their own reproductive health issues, so it's not only women issue. That perception should be changed. We should change the narrative and the perception that anything that has to do with reproductive health is women issue. No, because the men has a big role to play.
I'd like us to look at the point of maybe a woman has given birth now.
Okay.
What is actually the role of the man in supporting?
First of all, they need to support that's the mother, that's the wife, their wives now. They need to support them emotionally, then physically, because they need a lot of support even at that stage. So they have to be involved. There are some situations that, especially at that early stage, the man will just vacate the room and say, I better go with your baby. This baby is just disturbing. No. So they should also be part of it. At night, they too should also be seen to be taking care of the baby too. So so they shouldn't leave it for their wives alone. So they should be part of the caring, especially at that early stage of nursing the newborn child. So they should be involved, and also they should be assisting the women, that's the mother of the baby, physically, at least getting some things ready. There's nothing bad in that. Getting some things ready at home, maybe even preparing the mother's food, helping her maybe to carry the baby. If you are going out, you can help her to carry the baby. You can even help her to carry some of the things. Remind her, you need to put, you have not put this one. It's part of the caring and supporting. So with that, they will be able to encourage the women. The women will be able to visit the clinic, maybe for all those immunization for the child, or if there's any need for the mother to visit the hospital concerning the newborn baby, they will be encouraged. So they will not, I mean, they will not see it as if it's their own problem. They are the only one that should do it.
But also the healthcare system. How is the healthcare? What do you think the healthcare, that's the healthcare now, the system? What do you think they should do to also encourage men to be involved?
Okay. First of all, they should make the clinic to be father friendly by incorporating them, especially during that antenatal visit. In fact, they can, they can have a session for them. That's to educate them what their wives, what they are going through, even at that pregnancy stage, what they need to do. Once they are being carried along in that way, they will not find it difficult to even remind their wife, honey, next week is your antenatal visit. Please don't miss it. In fact, remind me so that we can go together. They will feel importance, they will feel encouraged to even be part of the system. So the hospital setting, the clinic setting, the health center setting should have a space for them to accommodate them, and they should be carried along.
There is this material that I read some time ago, where they talk about the support that women get from this antenatal care now, the exercises that they are required to do, to take them through the stages of labor, the role of the husband, what the man should, how the man should also be part of it. I discovered that we don't have such things here. We don't have such in this part of the world. We don't have such things like if a woman is about to, enter into the enter into the labor ward now. The man is most times, oftentimes, you find the man outside.
Yes.
The man is not allowed to
enter.
Yes, to enter. So I think all those things should also they should be looked into. Areas like that.
I agree with you, but they have to be policy.
Yes.
So that's where the government comes in. They have to be policy that will direct the health workers, the health facility, to make sure that they involve the men in all the stages of pregnancy, delivery, the newborn, the childhood, immunization, and even treatment. So they should be carried along. So a policy has to be made and that will direct the healthcare facilities to effect such.
So what is now the way forward?
The way forward is for us to change the narrative and the perception that reproductive health is women issue. No. Men too has their own reproductive health concerns and needs. So they need to be involved and they need to be aware that their own health status and their behavior indirectly or directly affects the women's reproductive health.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you for taking our time to come on the program this morning.
Thank you, ma.
Yeah. We've been talking about men's role and involvement in maternal and child health care. And we have discussed extensively on the benefits of men's involvement or male involvement in pregnancy-related care. We've also looked at the barriers to men's involvement and the consequences of male exclusion in pregnancy-related care. Indeed, the value of direct male involvement in reducing maternal deaths cannot be overestimated, especially given the crucial role that the African male plays in the family, especially when you talk about decision making. It becomes very, very essential for the male to be involved in maternal and child health care. And also, when a man is involved in pregnancy-related care, it helps to improve the health and the welfare of the child. That's how we end the program for today. If you want to talk to us, you can do that through social media or you can call our numbers on the screen. You can also send us text messages. And you can visit any of our offices or our corporate head office at number 18 Johnson Road, Benin City. Till we come your way again, do have a lovely day. Bye.
Where we are going to round up on our program for today's Saturday morning treat. And I hope you have enjoyed every bit of our package for today. Our discussion on Qatar 2022 and the world food crisis and the poverty index, especially in Nigeria. So next week is another edition of the program where we shall be bringing you an interesting package with interesting topics as we did today. I hope next week will be much more better. So until then, I sincerely appreciate the viewers for staying tuned with us. Thank you for watching us. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.